So if you ask me, and why wouldn't you? I think the eraser should be sold separately from the pencil because you should have to pay for your mistakes. So there's that. There's a common problem that we resellers face whenever we sell used books, and that is bookstores, especially used bookstores, are known for writing a code and also a price inside the book. On the first page, you open the cover, and in the upper right-hand corner, that page, by the way, it's blank. It's called the end page. I know it comes at the beginning, but it's called an end page, and so is the page that's blank at the end of the book. Those are the book's end pages. And that first end page often has a pencil code or price, such as this one. And we wish they didn't have that as resellers because of a couple of reasons. One, it defaces the book. I know it's just a pencil mark. It's intended, the bookstore's intention is, well, you can always erase it. So it's not like we're permanently damaging the book the way book owners do when they write their names in the book. Don't do that. Don't destroy the value of your book. You don't write the name inside your coffee maker whenever you buy one of those. You don't write your name inside your socks whenever you buy socks. Don't write your name in books. If you're afraid people won't return your books, don't lend them out. But it's a little different. It's kind of a tradition that used bookstores, and I realize there are fewer and fewer of those every day, but used bookstores are well known, almost infamous, for writing with a pencil a book code and a price inside the book on the upper right-hand corner of the end page, such as this one here. The problem for us resellers is we either have to keep that, in which case the price might not be a price we want seen. In this case, if I'm selling a book for $52 and it sold for $3.95, it probably sold for $3.99 in 1970 at some used bookstore, but the price is still written there. And I don't want the buyer to see this. I don't want it in my pictures that maybe I just paid $3.95 for this book I'm trying to sell for $52. Now, I've done a video about price stickers before, and sometimes it's nice to have a price sticker. If you're selling something from 1950 and it still has the original store price sticker on it, then it's going to be far less than you're selling the item for probably. It might be some collectible item of which there aren't many left, and you still have the TGNY price sticker that says $1.95, and you're selling this thing for $350 because that's what it's worth today. There's nothing wrong with keeping a TGNY 1950 price sticker on that box. If anything, it helps show provenance of the age. It's an old item. It was bought at this old store that no longer exists for an incredible amount of money, less than anyone would have to pay today now that they've destroyed the US dollar all these years. But whenever it's a handwritten price in a book, it's a little different because there's nothing that makes the buyer think, well, this book must have been sold in the 1970s, used for $3.95. And unlike a retail price sticker that's got the store name on it, a handwritten price could very well have been made by a thrift store 2 days before you bought it last week. So you really generally don't like these prices in a book. It sort of defaces the book, but the idea is it's in pencil, you can erase it. The price is just going to make it look funny if you're trying to get a much higher amount for the book. So all you have to do is get an eraser and just erase the pencil marks. Done. And then you can take all your pictures. Well, the problem with that is, you know what happens when you try to erase pencil marks a lot of times. It just becomes ugly. It just becomes a smudge, especially older pencil marks. They don't erase all that well. If you write with the pencil and start erasing it right now, and it's a pretty good eraser, more than likely you'll be able to generally erase it. But these older marks from retail bookstores, they're not easy to erase. And so what do you want? Do you want a ugly smudge up there, or do you want a price that's very misleading, but it looks better? Well, there is a way to fix this price that does not produce a smudge and does not make your buyer think that you paid way less for this book than you're charging for this book. And that is find a pencil. And instead of using the eraser end, use the lead end. I mean, I know there's not lead in pencils anymore. Use the graphite end. And what you're going to do is fill in the space before the first number. You're going to write a 3 or a 2 or even a 1 or a 5 or whatever you want to write. Or change the 3 to an $8.95 if you're just charging $10 for this book. Use your imagination. Doesn't really matter. But what you want to do is mask this price by adding to it. This is the way that you can erase the problem with a price like this, by adding to the price. Now mine, I made a mark. I'm going to show it to you. It just looked great from a distance, but then I took a close-up for you and it doesn't look so good. But from a distance, this looks like it's a $23.95 book. I kind of shouldn't have repeated the 2, especially up close, it looks bad. But I'm just telling you from a distance, it kind of looks like $23. And no one's going to think anything about it. So if I'm charging $20 for this book now, well, I'm glad the buyer sees a price of $23.95. If I'm charging $50 for this book, maybe I want to write a 6 before that 3. Say it's $63. I don't know. So how dishonest is this? Well, you're not really stating anything. It's just a mark in a book. I'm a pretty honest guy. Exaggerating and fibbing about things really bothers me. I have a big problem with that in life in general. With this, I don't know. I'm just trying to mask the price because the real price that was charged in 1970 is really a bad one, really misleading, really makes me look bad, really makes me look really selfish. I'm asking so much for a book that I might have bought yesterday for $3.95. I mean, it's misleading, and it unfairly makes me look like I'm trying to steal from a buyer. Well, you know as well as I do, or you should, as a reseller, that buy low, sell high is the name of the game. There's nothing wrong with that, nothing illegal with that. The market determines your price. If it's not worth $25, you're not going to get it. So it's not like you can just rob people of things that you're selling on eBay. You can't force anyone to buy your items on eBay. Sometimes we wish we could, but you can't. Also, I don't know, and I'm not trying to justify this, but it's not a legal deposition. You're just making a mark in a book. Hey, if creating a price, kind of do what I just did here. Kind of double or triple right and kind of mess it up and just make it look like I'm not really sure what this price was at one point. Because that's all we want. We just want the buyer, I'm not really sure what this was. I don't have any idea. If the guy selling it to me paid this price, I can't really determine what it even was. So it's really not a factor. You're just eliminating that old handwritten price from years ago. You're eliminating that from the whole discussion and from clouding things. You don't want it to cloud things. If this bothers you, try erasing it. And most of the time on an old pencil mark, you're going to get that smudge like this. But if you'd rather have that than masking the price, okay. Another thing you could do again is just don't even put a real number. Just kind of put some mark that you can't really tell what the number was. But you're doing the same thing I am. I put a number where they're going to think it's a 2, even though it's a little messy, they're going to think it's a 2. But if you just make some mark where they can't really tell what it was, you're also misleading them, but you're really not. You're trying to not mislead them with an old price. And you're trying not to deface the book any more than is already defaced with visible writing. If you try to erase it and it gets smudged up, it looks really bad. Then you got to describe that in the book condition, and it's just a mess. Things just get messy. So that is the little trick that you can use for books that are used that have been at some time in its life. It was sold at a used bookstore and it got the common pencil mark of a price code and or price. Sometimes it's just a price. And even in thrift stores, a lot of thrift stores, they still mark books with pencils. And so it's just a mess that you really don't want to deal with. And this is an easy way, just really fast. As a matter of fact, at my photography table, which you can kind of see behind, this is the real thing. I'm not going to take time to make just a beautiful background that hides the fact that this is real work for me. I do this stuff every day, constantly throughout the day. I practice what I preach. I sell on eBay. Right now, it's my full-time income. I sell on eBay. I like it. I'm successful at it. I want you to be successful at it, so I'm showing you success tips. And this is one of them. Keep a pencil on your photography table, and whenever you get a book and you open up and you see, oh, there's the price, just kind of mask the price with another pencil mark. If it's a real sharp pencil that they used, you may have to sharpen your pencil. You may want 2 pencils at your table. One that's a little dull, like this one was, and one that's very sharp, because some of these pencil marks are very sharp, very fine, and you want to kind of mask it. You kind of want to look like whatever mark you put, whether it's a real number or some almost real number, you want it to look like the original store did this. Yeah, it's misleading, but so is the price if you leave it alone. It's very misleading as it is, and the buyer could very well miss a book that he or she wants because they don't like the fact you're profiting so much off a book. Now, you should never feel guilty off profiting, but it might keep you from a sale just because the buyer might be a jerk and say, I'm going to wait until I can find one that I think someone paid more for. I don't know. You don't know. But it's not really being deceptive. It's really fixing a deceptive problem already. Maybe I'm justifying that. If you don't like this idea, I've been using this trick forever, but if you don't like this, tell me that in the comment. Let me know why this is wrong. I don't want to do things that are wrong or insidious to make a sale. That's never my goal. Because we, as resellers, especially if you watch this channel, we pay so little for things and make so much of a profit. We don't make a return on our investment. We make a giant return on our investment that we don't have to resort to things that other resellers sometimes resort to. And I don't think this is resorting to anything. I think this is just keeping a book from getting more defaced by an eraser okay, bottom line, if it's wrong to mask the price this way, then it's wrong to erase it, right? It's wrong to erase the price that you don't want them to see for this very reason. Anyway, think about it. Let me know what you think. Do you do this trick for any other thing? There are other ways to mask conditions of items in an appropriate way. I think this is an appropriate way. Tell me what you think.